Hi, everybody. I hope everybody is having a good morning. It's actually 11:05, so we have one more minute to noon. But I wanted to share about scheduling next year. This is the planner I use. So I have a small business. It's called Gladys B Counseling and Education Center. And so I have to so I schedule clients and different things like that. But I was thinking about scheduling for next year, and one of the things I was thinking about is having to, being able to have a schedule where I am more like I schedule my admin time and, more precisely. And also having in my schedule those times for self care. So, those times when I'm just taking a break, when I am focusing, getting my exercise. One of my New Year's resolution is to, do more exercise. And I think along the way, it's kind of one of those things where it starts off strong and then it tapers off, and then I get back and it tapers off. But anyway, so I want to be able to do, to get in more exercise, to get in more meaningful, restful time, and different things like that. But I wanted to talk about scheduling, because one of the things that I found when I did schedule towards kind of the middle of last year, I was like, okay, let me focus on especially like my lunch times and say, what, no matter what, I'm going to make sure that I do my lunch times. The other thing that was important for is because I do, as a general lifestyle, I do intermittent fasting. And so that means I usually, my usual eating window is between 1 o'clock and 8 p.m. Um, or yeah, 1 o'clock, maybe to 8:30. Let's say 8:30, and then I don't eat again until 1. So when I wake up in the morning, I usually have like a coffee or like tea or something like that. I do dirty fast, what I call a dirty fast. So I'm not like because when you do a clean fast, there you can have nothing that would activate insulin in your body. So anything that has any calories would be a no. So you would have like plain black coffee, plain tea, of course, water and things like that. So I do dirty fasting where I may add, if I have coffee, I may add a little bit of almond milk, um, or I may add, if I drink tea, I may add honey, things like that, to the food. So I do dirty fasting majority of the time, and then every now and then I'll do some clean fasting and things like that. But I find that it's just been helpful because it gives my stomach that rest time, because I believe I have IBS. I haven't checked with the doctors yet. They're still trying to figure things out, and I'm tired of going to appointments. I don't want to go back and forth to appointments, and things like that, which I need to get on in the new year. Just get on with it. But scheduling wise, I liked from this year. What I liked was having my lunches scheduled in, and I liked having, what I saw naturally occur was there's a time between 1 to 3. There's that gap that on average was generally empty for majority of the days of the week. Um, so there's that low space there between 1 and 3. And so I'm thinking for this upcoming year that I will schedule that time and say, okay, here's the time that I'm going to go to the gym. Here's, this day I'm going to go to the gym. This day I'm going to do admin work. This day I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, just kind of schedule it so that that time is designated for something. Because I find that if it's not designated for something, I kind of just blow it off. I kind of just blow through it. I have spent a lot of it writing notes. As a therapist, we write a lot of notes and things like that. So I have found myself like writing notes and things like that during that time. But I want to schedule it just all a little bit better. But I have noticed on average, there's that time between 1 and 3 that is almost guaranteed to be free. And that's just how it's worked out, for my schedule. And so I want to continue. I want to fill that spot with something meaningful, something helpful, and things like that. I want to keep my lunches. There were some times during this year that I didn't have lunch at 1, and it ended up being 2, or I had to have lunch at like 11 because I happened to have a back to back like 12 and 1 o'clock client. It was, it was rare to happen all through the week. It might be just one day of the week that happened, and consistently, and things like that. And I can work around that kind of stuff, and things like that. Um, but there are mornings when, like this morning, I made a smoothie, and I put like the turmeric in it because I was just feeling, my back was feeling like inflamed and things like that. So there will be times when I'll break my fast early. Like I said, it's a lifestyle. It's not like I'm not aiming to lose weight. I'm not aiming for anything specific. It's just the way that it just helps my stomach feel better, and things like that. So for scheduling, that's one of the things that I want to do, is to make that time between 1 and 3 designated for self-care, designated for something good, something quality time, something like that, because I have that time available. And then schedule some days of the week that would be admin time, so I'm doing some admin work and things like that. Another thing with scheduling is sometimes as a small business owner, you may have all these nice plans about here's the time I'm free and here's the time I'm not. There are some times when you have to break into that time and get a client, get somebody to fill that slot so you can earn the money you need. And so I need to keep that in mind. So when you're scheduling, keep in mind that you need to be flexible with scheduling. It can't be as wonderful all the time. It can't be as planned out all the time and things like that. Sometimes you're going to have to plug somebody in there into that slot and just get it done and taken care of that way. This year I cut out the 8 p.m. So the last client that I see is at 7. This year I cut out the 8 p.m. because it was just not working. It was just not working. By 8 p.m. I'm done. My brain is done. My body's done, and different things like that. So I was really able to kind of cut that out this year. And it felt okay. At first I thought, okay, I'm going to lose money and all of this stuff. It felt okay. It felt really good. I think I made up for it in other places, and things like that. But yeah, I cut out that 8 o'clock and I was so glad that I did. It felt so much better. And so again, flexibility, when you plan your schedule, some things will work out really well. And sometimes it's like, okay, this is definitely not working. So don't be afraid to go back to the drawing board and see what isn't working and figure out a good way to tweak it so that you're having something, that is working well for you. But I like this planner. And one of the, a couple of the reasons that I like this planner, goes to, it has the full month view. I hope you guys can see that. It has the full month. And then it has the dates and the times. But the thing that I like about it is it has the times in every 15 minutes. And so you could schedule like what I would typically do is every now and then I would have a 9 a.m. Schedule, but most of the time I start at 10. And so I would schedule somebody at 10. That would go all the way from 10 to 11. Let's say somebody wanted an 11:30. I could easily schedule that because it goes every 15 minutes. So I really like the planner for that every 15 minutes. And then the other thing that I like with this planner is on the side here, it has a section for notes where you can put notes. So every month happens to be the same way, where it starts out with a full month calendar, and then it goes to the days of the week and the times down the side, and then the notes on the far side. I found it really helpful to get to do that this year, so that I as I was looking through the week, and reflecting, I saw the notes that I'd written on the side, and it reminded me to check on things, and to get things done. So I really like this planner. It is from Blue Sky. It says appointment book planning calendar, and it goes from January 2023 to December 2023. It has a 6-month bonus, weekly plus monthly calendar, reference pages, contacts, notes, um, and things like that. So I like this planner for that it has all of those kind of breakdowns and things like that. And so that's what I'm going to be using for my planning this coming year. So I'm gonna play around with my schedule and see what works well. I'm thinking of my New Year's resolution. I haven't solidified it, but one of the things that I'm thinking about is having a half day Friday. So instead of working the whole day Friday, have a half day Friday, and different things like that. This year I did work on Saturdays. Last year I had worked Saturdays from I had opened my schedule to work from 9 to 1, but I was kind of doing that like very selectively, because I didn't want to take up my weekends and things like that. So I think I'm going to do that again this time and just work on Saturdays with people where it's, they need a whole lot more support than just the one time during the week, and different things like that. That would especially be with like my teens that I work with and stuff. But you know get your schedule done, put in there your lunch times so that at least you're doing the thing that'll get your nourishment and different things like that. If you're doing intermittent fasting like me, write in the comments what your eating window is like and how you take care of that situation. If you're not doing any intermittent fasting and you eat your breakfast, lunch, and dinner, then you can definitely schedule in like, okay, this is breakfast time, this is lunch time, and then you probably won't have to schedule dinner in your planner, unless it's something that would be helpful for you. Then you might need to schedule dinner in your planner, and things like that. But having a planner has been super, super, super helpful. My phone has like the little things that are like off the wall, like not typical part of my schedule. So I have reminders in there, even for vitamins. Like I have reminders in my phone for my vitamins. I have reminders in my phone for, so not typically work type stuff, webinars. So every now and then I will come across a really good webinar for counselors and things like that. And so I will put in my phone calendar, that webinar is coming up. Or when I sign up for the webinar, I'll say, yes, transfer it to my Google Calendar, because the webinar, when it starts coming up, my phone will remind me, and things like that. So anything that's not the typical work schedule, anything time I need like a reminder to do something, next year, which I'm already thinking about, I have to renew my license. And so that's already in my phone, because the licensing board changed. Like we have to fingerprint and, do things like that. So I have to put that in my phone and say, because I need to renew my license in December. So like first week in October, my phone's going to remind me that, hey, you need to renew your license. And then I can go ahead and go get my fingerprint done and all that stuff before December hits. And then it'll also give me enough time to do my CEUs, my 24, to finish up with my 24 CEUs and all that stuff. So that kind of off the, not so familiar regular stuff, I put that in my phone, and things like that, just so that I can remember, and my phone dings, so it reminds me to do it and things like that. So I have this planner, and then I have an EHR called Simple Practice. In my EHR and Simple Practice, it has all of my schedule and things like that. So everything that's in here goes on Simple Practice as well. So I have it in 2 different places. So I can just look online when I'm online and I need to check something quickly, or I can just flip through my book, and things like that. But it is coming towards the end of my 2022 calendar. I noticed it as, I was looking through and seeing, oh, what, are the dates that are coming up and things. And I noticed it in there and I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, that time is coming. And so it is almost a time to, look into a new planner, get a new planner started. So this is an opportunity to start the year with putting in all of the resolutions, all the things you learned this year. You can say, okay, I learned this about myself this year. Like I learned like cutting out that 8 o'clock was so good. So you can kind of write that kind of stuff down and remember it. So you're not scheduling any 8 o'clocks if that's, how it works for you. I'm not scheduling any 8 o'clocks. I think this year actually I did schedule one 8 o'clock, but that was a one off. That wasn't like a weekly thing. It was like, okay, I really need to talk to this person. And so I did it at that time. So that is kind of the thing that I used my 8 o'clocks for, but that was like once in every 3 months or something like that. So it didn't happen quite often. So trust yourself, reflect on this past year and see what worked in your schedule, what did not work in your schedule. Leave me a comment so that I can know what your schedules are like out there as small business owners, or even if you're working, a quote unquote 9 to 5 schedule, or you're working an overnight schedule. Let me know what your schedules and things like that are like. Be flexible out there, and I will talk to you next time. All right, bye, y'all.